Hello, welcome, Band of Badgers. Hello, nice to see you. This is something a little bit different. We've done, if you've seen any of our stuff before, we've done some tabletop games and some online games and all different bits and pieces. What we've tried to do now is we just thought we'd have a little chat. We've been doing D&D Live was what, last weekend before?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. That time has flown past pretty quickly. And we really enjoyed. We sat in on Twitch with Beadle and Grim. I was there all 3 nights, and it was just nice to have a little bit of a catch up. And we did the same. We had a little Zoom party going on. Various 5 members of Badgers turned up. A couple of guys from Canada turned up, and we all had a little chit chat while we were watching Beadle and Grim. And we had a nice little conversation. We were hearing the various stories and things like that. So we thought, well, as well as playing the games, what else can we do? We get a lot of questions. Weirdly, we've started getting questions. We are a Band of Badgers. There we go. We're a UK-based tabletop role-playing game club. It's the easiest way to say what we are. Once a month, we play. The whole club, 50 of us, get together for one big D&D session. We play the entire Sunday, and we play in a big mansion house. We also have our own home games and work games, whether they're weekly or fortnightly. We already do those as well. And there's a way of, since we're in lockdown here in the UK, it was a bit of a struggle to get some of our tables online. So we found various ways of doing it, and you can see those adventures on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bandofbadgers. Please do go and check it out. And then we've been getting, not exactly fan mail, but just fan questions, and how we've set certain things up, how things are run, how we choose our games, who do we choose to DM. And our DMs are really just people who just want to step up and get involved, who want to run a game. We do homebrew, we do official campaigns, we do all kinds of made up stuff, and it's really good fun. And then what we started doing is doing our YouTube gaming tables. We started doing giveaways. Then we started collaborators involved. We've got Eldritch Foundry, we've got 3D&D, we've got Eds Gaming Emporium. Then we started having collaborations with Dungeon Fog, so our maps would look better. We're using encounter cards and bits and pieces from Gal Force 9, and they've really helped get closer together as a club, a little community who allows us to have a chat to basically talk role-playing games, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, D&D, Pathfinder, and all of it. And you can see a load of stuff behind me. It's a bit crazy. We have all kinds of games going on. We have an entire schedule for the summer. We have our barbecue for once we come out of lockdown. We hope to get back to our barbecue and see everyone there. And we've met loads of people. Dragon Meat just before Christmas in 2019. It feels like it was years ago.
It certainly does.
Yeah, but it wasn't. So maybe we'll see them again before Christmas this year. Maybe that will work out. We don't know. But the reason is because we had something else came in. We started. Look, there's a box. We started getting. Some goodies turn up. Now you'll probably see some bits and pieces. We're using Zoom, and this has just been cobbled together using OBS. So what I'm going to try to do is switch between which camera am I going to do? Let's try this one and see if this works. And oh, there you are. Look, you're over there. Hello. There's no point me talking over here. You're over there. So what we've got is a big box that came in. And we want to kind of go through and just talk about some of the stuff. It's a lot of stuff that's coming to our club. If you're based anywhere in Sussex or near Sussex, any of the counties around Sussex, if you're coming over here for a holiday in Sussex, I'm not sure why. We've got some nice castles. Get in touch. We'll happily put on a game for you. But we've got bits and pieces. So what we've got and what I've got is also a second camera on the desk. You can see my refreshments are here. I've got Coke and Mars. No sponsors, unfortunately. But we've got that, and if I switch to this, look, so no, you can see me over there, and I'm over here, and that's over there, and it's all going. Yeah, I'm back here now. See, hello. So this box we got from Eds Gaming Emporium. Eds Gaming Emporium. We met them at Dragon Meet last year. Ed himself has been absolutely superb. I had a chat with Ed on the day at Dragon Meet. In fact, I had a couple of chats, and we swapped postcards, because that's what you do at Dragon Meet. You swap postcards, and he had a few games. Now, it's an online shop. They do tons and tons of role playing games, miniatures, board games, and I was trying to find Call of Cthulhu, the starter box set. That's all I wanted. And he helped me out, and I bought the stuff from him. And even the actual publisher was there. And I've got it here. And I got the keeper's screen and everything else. Here it is. There we go. But what was it? Chaosium Inc. I don't know. Chaos Inc. Basically. They were the guy I was talking to at the event. It was absolutely terrible. But the Eds at Eds Gaming Emporium was superb. Now, not only did he send us the box, they get a nice little letter saying, "Hi Dave, yeah, thank you so much for your order. It really means a lot. I've included a little something. Ooh, I've got a freebie. Maybe you can use it in a future game. Anything else, you or Band of Badgers, Bob. Needs, let me know. I'm sure I can do some good deals. Stay safe." So then we went backwards and forwards. And not only that, he's given us a 10% discount code which you can use. So if you go to Eds Gaming Emporium, put in the voucher code word Bob10, and you'll get 10% off of absolutely anything. Not only that, we're going to do a giveaway bit later. Now, if I go through the box, oh look, here it is. So thank you very much, Ed. I think I said thank you at the time. If not, I'm saying it again now. Thank you so much. He sent me a beholder zombie. It's not a normal beholder. It's a zombie beholder. And I love zombies. I'm a huge fan of zombies. Steve would tell you if he's listening, but I'm a huge fan of zombies.
I can do one finger typing and listen at the same time, but I was using two fingers then, so he was out of luck. Fair enough.
So we're going to have
I was just putting the voucher code into the Twitch chat for our viewers, so doing my production bit.
So what we got from Ed was a bunch of books. So we have these. Now this is Pathfinder 2nd edition. They recently launched 2nd edition. If I can get it onto the camera, it's not going to show up too well. This is the Fall of Plaguestone. Now this is the first adventure. It's a standalone adventure. Pretty much a one-shot for first-level characters. As it says here.
Right, so just, sorry, let me go back there. Can you put the old beholder in front of the camera again? There was a little bit of reflection, so...
Oh. Let's try that.
I think that's deserving of a bit of a close-up, that.
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Terrible-looking thing.
It is. I've actually got a painted version of this as well. This is, it is pretty scary.
So, as somebody that plays in your games, I do hope we never have the opportunity to see that in the flesh.
Oh no, that's next week's session. It is now. So yeah, it is pretty good. I do like a good beholder. So okay, cool. Keep questions coming in. If you have anything on Twitch, let us know. We're not mind readers, but do let us know. So this is this is Pathfinder. Pathfinder is a little bit different to D&D. It still uses a D20 system, but is nice and easy to use. It's very good. In books you have all the maps. This is the artwork. I was telling Paul, one of our players, about a really creepy looking thing, and I have no idea what that is. But that's
some sort of cross between a flesh golem and an imp, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but Pathfinder have these fantastic creatures. They have like variants on everything. The maps come in the front and the back of the book, as you can see. Lovely, lovely maps. So this is the entire story in a very slim. If you remember, me and Steve have been playing D&D for a very long time. But when you used to get an adventure, it used to be like this. It never used to be a big hardback book. It used to be just a few pages and you flick through. And I love these. I'm also a big fan of Beadle and Grimm's, and we'll do that on another session. But you can see the quality of the maps is superb. For the Plaguestone, it starts off as a murder mystery. You've got some fantastic artwork. I do not know who does the artwork, but it is superb. It's a really, really nice. This is first level adventure for a bunch of new characters. It helps you get involved in Pathfinder, but if you already play D&D, if you already know the D20 rule set, it all has the same stuff. It's strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. To succeed, you roll high. You fail, you roll low. And the story is fantastic. I absolutely love just reading through their books. I mean, look at that. Yeah, the artwork.
So that's a one-shot adventure.
It's a self-contained story, but you could use it as a launch story. He's called the Behemoth. Look at that. Vampire Bat Swarm.
That is an awesome piece of artwork.
Yeah, oh, there he is. The Behemoth. I can't really get it in front of the camera that well, but you see it there. What's he got? +7 dark vision. Skills are athletics +12. How the hell does that have a +12 athletics? I have no idea.
So I know that's one of the differences between D20, D&D and Pathfinder is saving throws. From what I know, it's been a long time since I've played Pathfinder. But there was reflex saving throws, athletic saving throws instead of your standard constitution, charisma, intelligence, wisdom.
Yeah. Yes, that's pretty much. Whoops! I just switched over the camera there. Sorry, Steve. There we go. Yeah. So it's a slightly different system, and it is really, really nice to use. A slight thing we're doing this summer. It's today. As we're recording this, so we're streaming live on Twitch. Hello, everyone who's joined us. Thank you for joining. For you, if you're watching this on YouTube, we recorded this 1st July 2020 during lockdown, and I'm planning on doing a Pathfinder campaign, a weekly Pathfinder campaign, and we'll probably be doing this online. And I'm getting ready to recruit my next set of players. I already have a short list. I'm just waiting for more seats to be filled. I'm not sure if it's going to be 4, 5 or 6 players yet. We might start with 4 and expand slowly. But we're going to be doing, not this one, we're going to be doing Rise of the Rune Lords, which is the first edition Pathfinder campaign. In fact, let me get it. There it is. Ouch. That was my funny bone. Ouch. So this is what we're doing. This is the 30th anniversary edition of Rise of the Rune Lords, and it's pretty hefty. And so this again has 6 books, all wrapped up in one. Lovely hardcover, fantastic artwork. But we are going to run through this as the next big epic campaign. We're going to do that online as a weekly.
So what level structure does that take you through? Does that take you all the way to 20th?
So this one takes you from 1st to 18th level.
Okay.
So it's pretty meaty. It's a proper adventure where you start, you just start as farmers and warriors or whoever on the shift, and you eventually do get to a point where I can't give it away. You're going to fight, basically gods or demigods, really. It's a fantastic adventure. It's very continent spanning, and you get to travel the whole area of Golorion. Very much in a fashion of, if you've played Dungeons and Dragons, if you played Storm King's Thunder, it's a bit like that. You get to travel to really exotic locations, some really remote ones, and one of the bits I really enjoyed on reading this adventure, because I'm going to DM this one, is the fact that you can actually revisit points. So you can go back, see how they're doing, and pick up with friends and people you've saved along the way. This isn't like Storm Kings, where we kind of a bit rushed through. I mean, Storm Kings took us 11 months. This one will probably be, very kind of similar. But I've absolutely loved the story. So yes, we are going to try that at some point. Anyway, when we get to it.
Right. So question come in. Yep. There were 2 questions actually, but I'll do this one first. So
I have my coat. Go ahead.
The Pathfinder adventure you're going to be doing, we're going to be using the Pathfinder rules. So you did say that was a first edition Pathfinder campaign. Are we going to be using the Pathfinder second edition rules, or are we going to be using D&D rules?
So for Rise of the Rune Lords, when we play it, it's a 3.5 edition. So this is D&D 3.5. Now, so that's the rules we're going to use. However, when we do the next bit, we will move on to the second edition rules, which is very, very similar to D&D 5th edition or D20 5th edition. So we will be going there. And I just saw it in the chat text. We've got that up as well on the screen. It looks like Carol Ann. Yes, it does. I can't show it on the screen. I have to move the camera around. But yes, it does. So basically, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that is a big, ugly mess. So yes.
Yeah, it's Carol Ann with wings. So for one of our members, that's an essential booty kill, really, isn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. It's not good. It's not looking good at all. But I highly recommend it. If you want to get it, if you've never tried Pathfinder, this is a fantastic intro book. Everything is included. The bestiary, the monsters, the encounters, the basic rule set. It's all in there. You do not need to buy the player's handbook and the monsters manual version of Pathfinder, which is just called a bestiary. Start with something very simple. This has a cover price of $22, so you're probably looking at about £16-17 in the UK. However, here's the good thing. Go to Eds Gaming Emporium, use Bob10 as your discount code, you'll get 10% off, and he'll be able to get this in for you. Okay, you still got to pay postage and all the rest of it. It's only 10% discount, but it will save you, and it is very well worth doing. So that was the first thing in the box.
If you wanted to pick that up, then last question on that. If you wanted to pick that up, has that got pre-built NPCs or PCs?
Yes, everything is included in there. Even the things as you don't get handouts, but you get ideas of handouts. Let me switch to the other camera because I'm trying to juggle all the cameras as well. This is very hodgepodge of things. So you can see there's a good example of a handout. Now you could photocopy, take a picture on your phone, print it out, whatever. So you can hand it out to the players. Everything you need is literally in that book, and it is fantastic. If you don't be shy of picking up other games, Steve and me, we play different types of role-playing games, from sci-fi and fantasy. Alien RPG is really, really hot at the moment. Coriolis. Steve's got his magic wall on, so you can't.
That I bought from Eds, by the way.
From who?
From Eds Gaming Emporium.
Oh, you got it from Eds as well?
I did, and I got a nice letter as well.
See, Did you get a Zombie Beholder?
No, I didn't get a Zombie Beholder, so I'm going to write back.
Favoritism, Steve. Favoritism. So, yeah, I've really enjoyed that. But let's see what else is in the box, because this is the bit we want to see. Here we go. I'm all over the place. But anyway, here's some more. This is the character sheets I was talking about. So let's bring up this is the Pathfinder character sheet pack. This is. I wasn't too sure whether to get this or not, but I thought it would actually quite enjoy it. So let's get these items out of the way. Again, thank you very much, Ed. Thank you for the Zombie Beholder. Absolutely fantastic. And I'll keep that there so everyone can see. Here we go. Ed's Gaming Emporium. That's where to get it from. The character sheet. So this is pre-printed character sheets. Now, as you can see, it's very straightforward. If you've played D&D, a lot of people have made the jump to digital or doing D&D Beyond. I don't know if there's like a Pathfinder equivalent out there. That would be good to, if you know of one, let me know. It'd be really handy to find out. But basically, you can have pre-done ones here, and all it is some items, you might not be able to see that on camera, are grayed out already. Now, it doesn't really matter much on terms of the first page, the stats page, but this is for a cleric. There we go. Cleric. But on the back, all the feats that you might need, and this is where it becomes really helpful for a beginner, are pre-filled. And then you can just tick the items that you've got. Now, in the pack, also comes a blank one. So you can start fresh. You know, you can photocopy these. You can actually get these as digital downloads for free from the Paizo website. Paizo.com is the owner of Pathfinder and Starfinder. Starfinder is a sci-fi section of things. This is the fantasy one. So this is a blank character sheet. So you can a fairly generic one. And on the back, all the feats and class features are empty. So you can put your own in. That's fine. Then you also get a bonus one. So this is draw your own character. Some people like to do that. I don't always prefer to find pictures like on Pinterest and things. Write out your personality, your campaign notes. Who's in your party? Sometimes it's really handy just to make a note of who's sitting around the table with you and their names. Not just their character names, but their real names. Especially if they're strangers. After you're playing for 12 months, they'll be fine. But right at the start, you might not know who their names are. And here's a nice way of saying what items you got. I like this. Very, very nice.
The old paper doll thing, I like that.
Yeah. Here's a coin breakdown, all your gems, all your money, consumables, permanent items. Here's a backpack breakdown. I love that. Again, this is something we used to do years ago with D&D. But we haven't really kind of gone back that way for quite a while, especially with 5th edition. There's a spell sheet as well for any kind of, doesn't matter if you're a wizard or cleric, they are all helpful. And again, you can add different things in there for your spells. Then, if you want a companion. Now this could be an animal companion, this could be a sidekick. Again, fans of D&D have probably picked up the Essentials box set, have seen the companion rules. Here's a way of getting it all in. There you go. And there's a money table in there and crafting notes as well. Really, 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 really handy. There are a ton of different character classes in Pathfinder. They're all, there's nothing going to be new. You've seen it all before in D&D. But there's a few items. If you've seen, most of us are fans of Critical Role. And if you've seen any of those bits and pieces from the campaign 1, you would know Percy. And Percy has a gun. That's because they weren't playing D&D originally, they were playing Pathfinder. And then they converted it to D&D when it went Twitching. So this has been a really, really nice piece. I do highly recommend picking one up. But again, you can just use pen and paper. You don't have to use those items.
So while you're talking about character classes, there was a question earlier, so this is putting you on the spot. What's your favourite class and why?
For Pathfinder?
Or D&D?
Oh, I'm a ranger, Steve. You should know that.
Well, yeah.
So, my favourite all-time class is ranger. Mainly because they do a bit of everything. Got a bit of magic. They can melee combat, range combat. They're survivalists. They're loners. They can have an animal companion. They do everything that I was really comfortable with when playing. There's an arrow in my head. When playing D&D, it was something I was really comfortable with doing. More recently, although I've kept the same, I keep the name Kingsman for my characters. There's a reason why, but I haven't told anyone yet. But there's a reason why, and I've recently been playing while during lockdown. I've been playing both a paladin, which is just a human, just a big guy, 6'6", and a dragonborn eldritch knight. And I've really enjoyed being that kind of strong and powerful. And I think being an eldritch knight, which I see as kind of a bit like Doctor Strange meets a Jedi, has actually been quite good. And the fact that he's a white dragonborn, so he's got ice breath, I think that's been my favourite at the moment. And I'm quite keen to do that. And in fact, talking about Pathfinder, I recently downloaded the Steam game, or on Steam, Pathfinder Kingmaker. And I've created an Eldritch Knight in there. So it's, I've really enjoyed doing that. What about you, Steve? Do you have a fan favourite?
Yeah, I always like magic users. So I went for Sorcerer. The reason I gave was because you can cast 2 spells in a round, which is my favourite at the moment. Obviously playing Sorcerer, Warlock cross-class in your Avernus Rising game covers me for the best of both worlds in terms of arcane abilities and spellcasting and stuff like that. So that's what I really enjoy. It's just any magical class have always been like that. All the old characters I used to play always had some arcane ability. Going back to when we used to play D&D Basic, back at school, playing as the elf, it was that ideal cross-class of fighter and magic user. I always like to have a bit of both, but definitely a spellcaster, any sort of spellcaster.
That was back when we were 12.
Yeah.
So that was a long. We've been playing D&D for a long time. Okay. So back to the box. Another thing to point out with Ed's Gaming Emporium, it was a really heavy box. Everything came through perfectly. The bottom corners have been reinforced because there's some hard covers in there, and the box is pretty strong as well. So again, he does take care of everything. Everything was bubble wrapped as well, but I've removed all that anyway. So here's the next item on the list. There's a few items to get through, so we're trying to be as quick as we can now. This is Pathfinder's 2nd edition. This is the first adventure path that they launched when they moved to 2nd edition. And this is Return of the Rune Lords. So this is part 1 of 6. This is slightly thicker than Plague Stone. If I show that as a comparison, you can't see it on there. You can't see it on there. Can't see it on there. Can you see it on there? There we go. So it does allow you to do slightly different things. I'll swap over to there. There you go. So you can see there how the difference between the two. The top one being Return of the Rune Lords. Let's leave that one there. And this, again, has been a really, really interesting read. It's everything you need is inside. So you've got, these are artifact items, or legendary items, which have been really, really nice to read up about. Everything is nicely detailed. So you have a full breakdown. So there are 6 parts to the entire Return of the Rune Lord story. Each booklet is broken down into certain chapters. I'll try and get the glare off of there. And then you have the advancement track. So basically, this book alone will get your players to level 4. They'll start at level 1, and by the end of it, they get to 4th level. In fact, they'll probably get to 5th level. The other nice thing is, and again, it's really hard to show on camera, is, can I do it this way? Here we go. It's down the side. It marks out what you need to know. There's a full breakdown. So you've got part 1 to 5 ends halfway down. Then you have an NPC gallery. You've got a map for Roderick's Cove. You've got the legacy, a bestiary, and a campaign outline. So everything is really, really well done for. It's been thought out. Now you do need to kind of sit down and still kind of read it and go through it that way. But just having that quick chapters to go through to allow you to make your own notes has been really, really handy. And again, look. Get this in front of the camera. That is not something from Harry Potter. It looks like it, but it's not. These are rune warped creatures. There's some, again, the artwork, fantastic. There's some history in there. There's some really, really nice. And again, look at that map. So fantastic maps to do. Now you can. There is actually a map pack you can purchase. Here's an idea. You mentioned before about NPCs, Steve.
Yep.
There is a slightly non-typical NPC that you do get to meet up with, but the weapons are blades on ribbons, and I really like that.
That'd be a great monk weapon. That.
Exactly, and there's some really nice influences on the stories and the background characters. Some of these you might just, they're bad guy and henchmen and things like that. Some of them are characters who are going to be with you until the end, hopefully all the way to the end.
So you talked about advancement in the beginning. Obviously, we used to play in Milestone most recently with 5e and all the games that we run at Badgers.
Yeah.
Is that something that exists in Pathfinder, or is this going back to the old school ways of earning XP and people advancing at different rates almost?
No. So this, like 5e D&D, Pathfinder is flexible, and like any of these systems, you don't have to follow them rule for rule. I don't see the point of that. I think as long as you're making the games fun, entertaining, and everyone kind of is not being a bit of a job's worth, I think you can have some good fun with it. Milestones are really good up until 5th level, and then sometimes I prefer to switch to XP. But the XP is shared between your group anyway, and if you do XP, one of the things I found out is when you get to like level 11 or level 12, when your players get to level 11 and 12, they build up so much XP that sometimes you just want to have an adventure with them where they're not always going up a level every single adventure. You want to kind of span that out. When they get to level 10, they're really powerful in D&D, and Pathfinder is very, very similar. So I'm keen to see how this reacts, but I think when we run the summer game, I think I'm keen to keep with milestones. That way, it's one less thing to track. We don't have to worry about who's there, who's missed out. Everyone gets the same. If you complete the story, and if your character survives, you hit the milestone. But you're going to be several chapters where you don't go up a level. For example, like we've been playing, if anyone wants to check out our YouTube videos, some of our lockdown adventures, the road to Baldur's Gate is basically 1 to 3. So that is how that kicks off. And then you've got to work out how the other bits work. So it's just trying to kind of fit those all in and making sure that they work in the same way. So that's part 1. And I mentioned it was 6 parts. And I got them all here as well. So it's a bit of a splash out. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So part 1 is absolutely superb. Part 2, it came from Hollow Mountain. So again, you're going off to find a new location, and you're a bit stronger. This one has. If anyone is a fan, I'll try and find some artwork in here. If anyone is a fan of Blade 2, there is a fantastic piece of artwork. Typically I can't be able to find it now, which just reminded me of the vampires from Blade 2 when their mouths opened up a bit like Predator does, and then they'd latch on. It was absolutely stunning, and I thought that'd be a great way of oh, look at that.
I think I know the piece of artwork you're talking about. There's a creature that has the exact same jaw as the guy from the band, weren't it? I can't remember his name. That's going to bug me. I have to go on IMDb and look it up.
There's a little bit of a view there. He's watching from the rooftops.
Yeah.
So there's some really nice things. Sin Spawn they're called in this game. So you're not just following one story. You're following an overarching campaign, which is the Return of the Rune Lords, and then seeing how you, without giving too much away, how you're going to, potentially defeat them, and when they pop up. Rune Plague. What is that? I mean, that looks like something from out of The Thing. and he's just walking down the road towards you. Again, some fantastic, really, really beautiful artwork. I've really been blown away, and I love the fact of having these just in smaller, bite-sized editions. I get a full story in here. You could also run any of these as individual, like one-shot campaigns. You don't have to put them in. You could take out the whole rune world aspect and just run that location and adventure. Here's which one's this? Number 3, number 4, Temple of the Peacock Spirit. Again, there's a supernatural element to these as well. I'm not sure. Is that you got the TV on in the background there, Steve? Or is that your bird?
No, the bird's gone quiet for a bit. He's waiting for his 10:30 squawkathon. So he's having the calm before the storm. So that's probably the TV in the background.
So this one is number 5, City Outside of Time. Again, look at that. Now you've got this behemoth behind you coming down into the town. How are you going to deal with that?
That's a question we've had. Does Pathfinder reward players who negotiate instead of being murder hobos?
Yes.
So is there multiple scenario solutions that don't involve combat all the time?
Yes, but a lot of that is also down to the players and the DM. So the books give you 1 or 2 options. Obviously, non-combat is of course an option, but it's down to the players to suggest it before anything kicks off. Sometimes you go into a room which is empty apart from stuff, and you just have to deal with it. I mean, here again, look at the artwork. So someone's obviously going to be sacrificed there in the middle. Bad guy sitting on his throne with his burning, glowing eyes. Everyone else is wrapped up in chains. But you deal with the situation as you wish. You always do. Again, just fantastic, unbelievable. And by this point, you see this big thing in the background. This book starts at level 14. So again, a 14th level character going up against this. And then the last book, Return of the Rune Lords, Rise of a New Facilian. Again, some really, really nice artwork. Sins of the Past. Some beautiful bits and pieces. And this, let's just switch that. This actually says you will end, by the time the story ends, you will be level 20. So there we go. Really, really looking forward to playing some of these. But again, we're going to start with the anniversary edition. We're going to start with that one first. So that's next year. That's next year. This is this summer. We're going to start a weekly campaign. And then, so here's the other good thing, is the players, I'd like to keep kind of the same players. The players, although this is a different set of characters you'll be playing, you have all that familiarity that you get to take from that first story. And I think that's something really, really important that we've kind of missed. So Band of Badgers, as I mentioned right at the start, if you're still here, is a club, and we jump around our tables quite a bit. We get a lot of players who join us and think, oh, I want a DM, I've got a story to tell. And that's fine, it's great. We completely encourage it. But I like to be kind of selfish, and I want to take the same amount of players on the same journey and just see what their reactions are going to be like. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Ready for more?
Yep, so we've got another question come in.
Go ahead.
So you talked a couple of times about not following rules as written and making it essentially a fun time for the players, and that comes down to knowing your players obviously as well. But we have quite a number of house rules, and you've got some in your game, I've got some in my game. What is your favourite house rule, and I guess what is the reason for it existing?
House rule. One of my personal favourites is when you are at the table, when the DM says, "Let's begin." Anything you say at that point is in your character's voice, is in your character's point of view. So if players around my table go, "Oh, Dave, what was that? What was that NPC's name again?" I'm not going to say anything. I'm not there. You don't have a DM. You are a party of 4 heroes on horseback, walking down past the forest. You're having a chit chat amongst yourselves. Now you can still raise that question, but you're raising that question out loud. And if you've done it to Dave, me, then basically you've just outspoken. So another player should then pick up on, who's Dave? Who are you talking to? And it just allows that little bit more of creativity, being a bit, using a bit of improv, just to kind of encourage some chatting. We have a lot of players who like to roleplay, and we have a lot of players who just like the combat and strategy of D&D. And trying to find that kind of balance between the two. And I found that is a rule I really like. More recently, and I'm talking in the past few days, there's a book called the Index Card RPG, and there's a system in there regarding kind of regarding death. So you get hit to 0 hit points, and in D&D you have 3 saving throws. You roll a d20 3 times, once on every turn. If you roll a natural 20, you get 2 points back. But basically, you have to succeed 3 times to wake up or to stabilize. In this go, and I haven't done it yet, but I'm quite keen to introduce it. When you get reduced to 0 hit points, you are unconscious and bleeding out. That player must then roll 1d6. That is how many saving throws or rounds that you have to survive for before you die. So don't roll a 1. Your allies can save you if they want to by just running over to you and staying with you and saying to you, "Don't die, I'm here, I'll protect you." If you roll a natural 20, you succeed and you bounce back up. It was just a scratch. That's perfectly fine. If you took if your hit points were like minus 25, you can't get up from that. You have just been obliterated. Likewise, if you dissolved in a vat of acid, there's nothing to bring back. If a giant steps on you and you take minus 50 damage, and that's, you've gone to 0 and then minus 50. When he steps off of you, you're just a squashed mass. So there's nothing to bring back. And I quite like, it's a bit vicious, but I quite like that. There's so many combats. You're having a sword fight, and people are shooting crossbow bolts and arrows at you. And we always say, you got shot in the shoulder or in the leg. But we never talk about after the fight, did you pull the arrow out? Did you bandage your leg up? What did you do? Did you just leave it in there? How did you fix that? Didn't you make it go, you know what? You've got an arrow sticking out. Did that hurt? And how many times have you been shot in the same place? We don't deal with those kind of things. And that's another element I would like to introduce to games. But I think it might be good to educate new players to the game in the new set of rules. But I think if everyone's willing, then that is also something we can do. What about you, Steve, before I get onto this one?
So I'll be quick. So I've got a rule that I did up creating as a house rule that now makes me laugh. So I like to have handouts. I like to put things on the tables. So we did the whole thing with the little test tubes of healing dice, and then carrying that round, and it was just a nice visual to have for the players at the table. So because I couldn't fit D4s in the test tubes, so I changed the healing on the potions to D6s because they fitted in the test tube, and that's now the house rule. And now every time we play Eberron online and we're doing potions and it's a D6, it just makes me laugh because the whole point of having that rule was so that we could have the handout, and we don't have the handout. So the other one that I'm looking forward to implementing is around the magical items that we've discussed, and about having magical items that have a bit of a story behind them. So we're starting to see that now in the Eberron game, with your sword that we finished up with at the last session. So I'd like to do that, so we get a magical item, but it has a story, and then maybe that story grows as the characters grow in power, so instead of just having a sword +1, forever, and then you select buy a sword +2. Maybe that sword grows with your character.
So is it if, for example, if you check out our YouTube channel, there's a I don't know what you call it, a series called Avernus Rising, and Steve has a crystal rose. Now this rose, it's slightly magical, but he hasn't figured out what it does yet, and I'm not going to tell him. So it's interesting to see how he reacts to it, and the rest of the team as well. You know, they've kind of given up and left him to it. So now
it's now a point of humour every time I get it out, isn't it?
Yeah. But we'll wait and see. But it's a very fun. I'm really enjoying Avernus Rising. So yeah, if you're interested in Avernus Rising and watching players literally go to hell, do check that out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Band of Badgers, I think. Yeah, Band of Badgers. So here's another item out of the box. This is the Pathfinder campaign setting, Return of the Rune Lords poster map folio. Now here, you get 3 maps. Now these are big. They are single-sided. They are only printed on paper. You only get a cardboard sleeve, which I was a little down about. I thought there could have been more. But looking at other products, this seems to be what they've done. And this, there it is, phallus long. This is big. Like A2 in size, I think. There we go. If you can see that on camera, I'll just hold it up. There you go. Again, really well drawn, really well detailed. Let me switch to the other camera for you, and I can switch that. There we go. So that's the one we've just seen. There we go. So that is really, really nice. Again, so everything is put on there. It looks fantastic. Here's another one. This is Roderick's Cove. I mentioned that in one of the other episodes. Oh, I'm slowing down now, Steve. You still with me, Steve? I'm slowing down. There we go.
Yep. You're right. It's picked up.
Yep.
So I'm just looking at it. Right, the Twitch feed's restarted, it's fine.
Bum, bum, bum. And then, so again, this is another A2 size map. Sadly, they are one-sided. I thought they missed a trick on not being double-sided. And it's a shame. It's thick paper, but certainly not rip-proof, which is, again, a bit of a shame. But this is a really, really nice to have. Again, I love, as Steve said about handouts and artifacts on the table, I love giving players rule maps. Just having something on the table to connect all the players, I found really, really interesting to watch from a DM's point of view. And when you have to do solve puzzles and things like that, I found that a really nice way to for that to get involved. I really do enjoy that. So that I wanted for more for my players. There is a, you can get different versions of this. This is the paper one. And other games I've had cloth maps and things like that. So I think in that sense I find it really, really kind of nice and satisfying. Here we go. Which one am I? There I am. Then, how are we doing? Next one. Next item is the Bestiary. Now this is slightly different to D&D's Monster Manual. Again, there are lots of variants in this. And if you've seen first edition Pathfinder, there are a number of bestiaries. I think there's like 6 or 7. But they're really, really well detailed. Now again, you can use, if you've already got Dungeons and Dragons, if you've already used Dungeons and Dragons, there's no harm in using the same things again. It's really, really easy to do. For some reason the cameras are really slowing down now. I'm not sure why. And then they're very. Sorry, I'm looking at chat as well. I've got that going on.
We're starting a bit in.
It's really going
as well.
Yeah. Let me try.
Do you want to shut down Twitch? I mean, the Twitch chat.
Dum, dum, dum. Bum, 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 bum. How's that? Is that any better? We've got a little bit.
That's freed you up, yeah.
Okay, so the Monsters Manual, for comparison, here's the Dungeons and Dragons Monster Manual. The size difference is that. Pathfinder is on the bottom. Let me switch my camera around so you can see. There we go. Can I get onto that one? Yeah, there we go. So Pathfinder is slightly bigger, not by much, but there's a lot of things in there. A lot of similarities to things we've seen before. Here's some more wasps. We've got an ettercap on the other side that they call a web lurker. Look, I'll pick it out and go. Whoa. There we go. That is pretty disgusting. And then we've got items.
Do you want to just pause there for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Might still.
So that again, Steve, can't hear you.
Okay, it looks like it's all right. Yeah, you're right. It's just my iPad.
Okay, so one of the items in here. You okay? It seems to be slowing down again, Steve.
Yeah, my iPad Twitch stream is in buffering, but I can see it in the PC, so we're okay.
Ooh, it's my network bandwidth is low. But again, you can see that it's really, really nice, and so the artwork is amazing. But because the encounters, the monsters, they have the same stats as D&D. It's the same kind of thing with their own special moves. So you could use either. You don't limit yourself to what is actually there. Okay, which is really, really nice to see. And we're back. And I love their version of the goblins. Their version of the goblins is absolutely superb. I really have enjoyed seeing these. Boom. They are absolutely fantastic. So that's the bestiary. We get rid of the D&D one. We'll put that one back. What else we got? And let's switch that out. Right, pin. Oh, we seem to be catching up again. We're back onto green, I think. Oh, and that there's the back of the cover. Unleash the Beasts. Gorgeous. Like I am really, really looking forward to running this in the summer. As I said, we have some spaces open. It will be an online campaign, which means if you're interested, get in touch. Oh, there's a fantastic one. I'll show you on here because I can't be asked. So here is a mimic chair. Look at that. I mean, what if you sat there? I mean, your head is going to go right about there and it's just going to chomp down. I absolutely love that idea. And those, the arm rests going to wrap around, keep you in place, and it's just going to bite your head off. I mean, that would be amazing to run. So I think that would be really, really nice to see. But anyway, I've absolutely enjoyed going through these books. Do absolutely love them. Then finally we get to the bottom of the box. So this is all Pathfinding, just in case. And then we have this is the core manual. So this has all the rules, but this is kind of like a DM's book.
Don't drop that.
Say again?
I said don't drop that, will you?
Don't drop. Well, I've got a glass desk, so I'll probably break it. This is a DM, the DM's manual and the player's handbook all rolled into one. Again, absolutely stunning, lovely.
So we are still getting quite a lot of buffering. Is there something we can do in OBS to drop the stream rate down, do you think?
No, it doesn't seem to be affected that much actually. So I'm not sure why. It's gone yellow, it's back to green. It might be just the length of time. We're going on a bit. We've waffled. It's okay. But this is, again, another book which has a ton of items. Let's see if I can get the camera closer for you. And bring that up. Switch that one to this one. Switch that one to this one. There we go. There we go. Some really, really nice artwork again. But this takes you through the entire items. And again, I'll show you this bit here. So you can see the, if that will focus, everything is broken down. So you've got ancestries, backgrounds, classes, skills, feats, equipment, spells, Age of Lost Omens, playing the game, game mastering, crafting treasure, and the appendix. The appendix is really useful in this book. And again, never goblin. Do you like the Pathfinder goblins?
I like all their artwork. They're great.
Yeah, I don't know who does it. Otherwise, I would definitely give them a shout out. If you know who they are, get in touch. Let me know. If it's you, get in touch. I have wall space that needs custom artwork. You know, it's again loads and loads of detail, and I do absolutely love their stuff. So we have some spaces available for our next summer campaign. It will be a weekly online campaign, and I'm really looking forward to it. This is all my Pathfinder goodies that I got from Eds Gaming Emporium. It's a UK based shop, and highly recommend them. Again, use your discount code of Bob10. He was also taking pre-orders. For example, I've recently ordered the Jaws of the Lion, the Gloomhaven sequel. So that is on order. So for pre-orders, there's a £5 discount. Plus, with my Band of Badgers 10% discount, I got a full £10 off. Not only that, but how many people we got in chat, Steve, at the moment? Or rather, what we're going to do is, for people who are watching us live in chat, we're going to do a £10 giveaway. So to be in with a chance to win, for those of you in chat, all we need you to do is put an exclamation mark and then the word Emporium. Put that into chat, and Steve will pick a winner. Because I know I'm going to do it as well. Because if you don't do it, you won't win.
Yeah, so you can copy that.
There we go. I put mine in. But yeah, I have absolutely loved having these books. Really well. So, any further questions?
Right, so we'll do a couple of questions whilst we wait for people to type in Emporium. So a question in. There's somebody wanting to homebrew some of their own games. So at the moment, you know, they're struggling with organising their bullet points, notes, and random thoughts, much as I do myself sometimes. And as a DM, how would you go for turning that into a more structured layout in terms of then, you know, world building or mapping and house rules and stuff like that? How do you organise yourself?
As a DM, how do I get myself organised?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I think every DM is slightly different. And I'll put that there so you can see. Every DM is slightly different. There's I'm
happy to go first.
Yeah, go on. I was going to say I tend to do a timeline. So you don't need to map out the entire story. You just need to work out what you're going to do in that session, plus maybe a little bit more. So if you're doing online, you might have 3 hours. If you're doing it one of our D&D days, you might have 8 hours. And 8 hours is a long time to tell a story and to DM. So you kind of need to know what you're going to do next, where your players are going to get to, and where you want to be comfortable to stop them. There's no harm if you turn around and say, well, I haven't planned the next cave. We'll do that next session. And that buys you some time. There's no harm in doing that. So really do have a think about how you want to put that across to your players. I've played in lots of games, and I learn techniques from every DM I've ever played under. Old DMs, Steve was probably the first DM I ever had. And even new DMs. You always learn different approaches to things. And I think if you can adapt and just take the best bits, make your games even better, why not? Steve!
You cut out a bit there. But yeah, so I do something very similar. I have a tendency to use like mind mapping software and stuff like that. And plotting the chapters is important, because if you over plan and your players do something off the wall, then your whole thing sort of falls to pieces, and it's then very difficult to ad lib something. So bullet points are good if you can just organise bullet points into their chapters as data to a timeline, and milestones. Milestones are very important, and have almost like gates that you pass through. You've achieved these certain things in order to close that chapter out or close that session out, and then that's done. And then maybe think about where you would go from there in terms of what player actions have been taken in that particular session, almost like a decision tree type thing. There was an article, and I will try and find it, and we'll put it in the YouTube version of this video as a link or something, to a way of thinking about how to structure your sessions. It was really good, and hopefully I'll find the article again. It was a really good way of thinking about how you structure your session in that sort of gate scenario and decision tree sort of way of thinking about it. So don't worry about if all you've got is bullet points and notes. You just need to put them into a chapter or timeline type structure to then plan your sessions, and don't worry about changing it after you've already done it, because the best plans are flexible and can change. If you do something that's very structured and your players go off script and do something off the wall, like trying to sell the boat, the sky ship that you've gifted them so they can get to the next bit of the adventure, that's fine. That is going to happen.
There's one of those things you can never, no matter how many scenarios you think of, you'll never come up with what your 6 to 8 players are going to come up with. They will always do the complete opposite. Again, you can give them 2 pathways. You can say, look, here's the bad guys down here. Everything, and this road is safe. I thought when you joined, you wanted to go on an adventure and kill things, but no, you've taken the safe road and done that. So, Steve, do we have a winner? We're going to give away it's a £10 gift voucher for Eds Gaming Emporium. You can put it towards anything you like, including pre-orders. Basically, we'll pick a winner, and then Steve will drop you a direct message or whisper or whatever it's called, and get your email address. Yes, Steve? Come in, Steve.
So, do you want me to announce the winner live?
Yeah, go for it. You can stick it. You can stick it in chat as well. Okay,
so our winner is Howderelan. I'm gonna mangle that.
Howderulon. I know who Howderulon is. Yeah, go on
then. So they have won through the fair selection of rolling of dice. So yeah, congratulations, Howderulon. You are the winner of our £10 giveaway. So if you can post me your email address, I'm just sending you a whisper now, then we can get that over to you.
Cool. Well done, Hal. Right, what we're going to do is we're having some delays and things. So we're going to... I'll leave that there. Look, you can see. Eds Gaming Emporium. What we're going to do, we're going to wrap up this session, which is going to end it. But if you're watching this live on Twitch, stay there. We have another one coming up. Oh, exciting stuff. So let me get rid of this, and we'll be back in a second. Hold on.